Is there a better thread locker for T-mounts? Mine keep coming loose even with the blue stuff. Okay. First of all, you said T-mount. T-mount means you're talking about props. Never threadlock your props. Never threadlock your props. Most of the plastic that props are made of, the thread locker will make the plastic brittle and the prop will disintegrate. Never threadlock props. If your T-mount props are coming loose, it feels like you're not tightening them correctly. Like, I've literally never had that happen. You know? Like, tighten them down correctly. Also, generally, you want 7mm screws, which I bought. Like, they usually come with 8mm, and to me, those are long enough that I'm always a little worried about screwing into the motor bell. Or they come with 6mm, and to me, those don't bite the threads quite enough, and they can strip the threads out. So I would buy a bag of 100 M2 by 7mm, use those, and tighten them down correctly. You don't need to over-tighten them, but they should be snug enough that they don't work out loose. Good advice from Half Fast. If you've got T-mount props, you do need to go recheck your screws periodically. Like, if you're crashing and banging around, the screws may work loose. So, what about these type of hubs? Can you Loctite these? No. No. Nope, nope. Definitely that will disintegrate. So, I've talked to people who fly airplanes, and they said, "What are you talking about? I Loctite my prop nut all the time, and I have no problem." And I'm going to guess that, like, do you see, like, visually this looks like a different kind of plastic? I don't know. I don't know what kind of plastic it is. But, like, there was a guy who flies airplanes, and he was like, we Loctite our props all the time. And I was like, well, you must have a different kind of plastic. Thank you. So I'm going to guess that airplane props are a different kind of plastic. And I don't know what kind it is. This kind of plastic, people seem to Loctite and get away with it. But this kind of plastic that we use on multi-rotor props, that just disintegrates. It literally, they just crumble like to dust. How many batteries should a noob plan to buy? 5, 10, 20. I think that, like, 4 batteries would be my minimum for a noob. With 4 batteries, a lot of people will find that that's a good amount of flying, especially in the beginning. And if you have charging available at your flight location, whether that's, you know, no matter how you're getting that power, there's various ways you could be getting that power. But if you could charge at your flight location, then 4 batteries is enough to keep you flying pretty much indefinitely, because you're not just going to be fly a pack, set, land, plug in a new pack, fly a pack, land, plug in a new pack, fly. If you're literally just rolling packs, then you need like 10 or 15 packs to just never stop flying. But you're going to land, you're going to unplug, you're going to screw around, somebody else is going to fly, etc. Like 4 packs is a nice solid number for a beginner who isn't going to want to spend too much money. I think maybe 10 packs is like the most a beginner should think about buying. That's plenty, and you'll have some spares for when you kill them. So that's what I would say. Norman Childs is trying to program an Omni F4 Pro V2 with Cleanflight. I have a Windows 11 laptop. Is Windows 11 my problem? No, Cleanflight is your problem. I'm not sure what the status is of the Cleanflight configurator or the Cleanflight firmware. I honestly don't know. But my question would be why you're using Cleanflight. If it's an F4, then I would, I think it should be supported by Betaflight. As I don't know if Cleanflight is even really continually being developed or maintained. Like, if it is, it's like I don't know why you're not using Betaflight. No, Windows 11 I don't think is your problem. I'm not really sure what's going wrong, though, so it's hard to judge. Alexi F, thank you for 40,000 COP. Thank you for the Inav video, says Alexi. There's a missing part. How do you make your mag working? Your C7 has a 6-pin cable out of GPS. Mine has 4 and mag is not working. Did you replace your cable or iFlight started to save on cables? Alexi, I added those 2 pins into the cable. I don't know if I put that in the video. I know I mentioned it, but I don't know if I showed it. I have some JST pre-pinned cables. I stuck them in the housing. It's kind of dumb that they don't include it. I wish they did, especially on the Chimera, which is going to absolutely be set up to run Inav. They should really include it. Tank, as usual, a Synologue 3.5 is not a good choice for cinematic mountain surfing. A 3.5 inch will be blown around by the wind, and get my chair centered up, and it will not have the flight time and endurance to do mountain surfing. For mountain surfing, I would say minimum 7 inch. You could just barely get to the top of a mountain and maybe back down again on a 5 inch, but 7 inch or 10 inch is really the place to be if you're serious about that. Brandon Bean says you can easily canyon surf with a 5 inch. It just takes a little more time. Mind you, I mean a light 5 inch. A freestyle 5 inch wouldn't fly long enough. That's fine. I'll allow it. Most people, when they say I want a 5 inch, they're talking about a typical freestyle 5 inch. If you design a lightweight 5 inch specifically for endurance flying, like the HDLRC Recon 5, it comes to mind, you could mountain surf with that, but you're still going to have problems with the wind. And I think the 7 inch is going to do better in the wind. So, yeah. Are there bind and flies that I can just use my DJI controller without adding wires? Asks FPV Explorer. Yes, there are. Any bind and fly that has the O3 air unit, and if you order it with no receiver installed, it should come wired for the DJI controller. It may not be actually configured in the ports tab. You may need to go in and configure it. And there are a few cases where for some reason they don't put those extra 2 wires in, and you would have to get a new wire harness. But any bind and fly that has the O3 air unit, probably you can use the DJI RC controller with it. Probably.
Also, don't be afraid to just ask the manufacturer before you order.
What a concept.
And say, hey, I'm going to order your plug and play or bind and fly version without a receiver. Can you make it hooked up like that, or does it come like that? That sort of thing.
Yeah, good point.